Welcome to this video of introducing our new MCP server for Business Central. My name is Kenny Pontoppidan. I'm a program manager here in the product team, and with me I have Jens.
Yes, I'm engineering manager in the runtime team in Business Central, developing the MCP server.
So, at Build in the spring of 2025, we had this slide with Microsoft loves MCP. But what is this MCP? Well, it's just it's a new protocol, Model Context Protocol, which is an open protocol to standardize how applications can provide context to LLMs and talk to LLMs.
And LLM is actually a large language model.
LLMs is a large language model. Yeah, we try to abbreviate everything to have code names and yeah.
3-letter acronyms to rule the world.
Exactly. So 3 concepts that are important in this world. We have hosts, we have clients, and we have servers. So a host in MCP is what orchestrates talking to different MCP servers and also interacting with the language model. The client could also be called a session. So one server can have a number of sessions open. These are the MCP clients, and they handle all the protocols and talking to the server. And servers are just the toolboxes. So there are multiple, many different servers, Dataverse, finance and operations, others, and these are the actual endpoints, the things where you can interact with the system. If you look at this set of icons, it's kind of, something is missing here.
Something's missing.
Yeah. And of course, that's Business Central. So we built a new MCP server for Business Central data. And the goal of this initiative is basically to take everything you can do in Business Central and make it available for our new primary users, AIs, and agents.
Yes, because over time we expect more and more tasks to be possible to just automate using AI.
So why did we do this? Well, the AI future is AI-driven automation, as Jens mentions. And it is both, automation has been around for a long time. That's where APIs were born. But APIs are just the beginning of MCP server. There's a lot of things you can do if you add a language model and an orchestrator. So with MCP server, we standardize how that is possible. And hopefully the business value of this is that you partners and you customers can start with the repetitive tasks, but hopefully also move into the tasks that are not so super well-defined for now, where a language model and an orchestrator really can help even automate those.
Yes, this is actually where language models shine, is where the input is a little fuzzy, where you have an idea of what you want, but you don't necessarily want the exact same thing day in, day out.
So in October, we announced the public preview for Business Central MCP server here in version 27.1. And in this video, we're going to just focus on the basics, so what we call the default configuration. Then we have other videos going more into depth of how to set up configurations and also more advanced topics. All right, so let's see the very first plain vanilla demo of MCP server with Microsoft Copilot Studio. So Jens.
Yeah, I'm going to talk you through how you can most easily get running with MCP server connecting to Business Central. So in order to run this, you want to set up an agent. Now we are targeting Copilot Studio as our prime client in this first iteration of the MCP server. And in Copilot Studio, you create a new agent. You can give it a description, and then you select your agent's model. In this case, I've selected GPT-5 Auto. The next step is to add the tool that allows you to actually get to Business Central data. The easiest way to get to that is to select the Model Context Protocol and type Business Central, which will make the Business Central MCP server preview show up in the list. You select that, and you select Add and Configure. That will bring you into the connector menu, where you need to specify the environment that you want to connect to and the company that you actually want to fetch data from. When you have saved this, you are ready to ask the first questions. Please notice here that I haven't filled in anything in the configuration part. We will get back to that later. You do have a default configuration if you don't specify anything there, which is that you have read-only access to all API pages in the system. Then you can test your connection. You can run a session in Copilot Studio. It will ask you to connect, and of course you need to connect in order to read the data. And then you can ask it simple questions like, do we have customers in Florida, which will find the customer list, look through it, and check if there are actually any customers in Florida. It even figures out that it needs to search by FL instead of Florida, because that's a standard abbreviation. You can also ask it more complicated questions. I'm not going to talk you through this, but generally the LLM, which is running in the MCP host, will do its best to find the tools inside Business Central that can help it answer the question that you gave it. On the Business Central side, you need to make sure that you enable the MCP server. So you do that from the feature management page, where you flip it to all users.
And this is likely going to change once we go into general availability. Right now, this is a preview feature, so we always have this feature management switch.
Exactly. So to summarize, the steps required to try out agents using MCP is you enable MCP in Business Central, you create a new agent, you select a model, you add the configuration parameters, the environment name, and the company, and you're ready to go.
Sweet.
Now, I did say we didn't pick a configuration, but behind the scenes, if you don't pick anything, you will get a default configuration, which effectively just has 3 things it can do. It can look for actions, it can describe an action, and it can invoke an action, and then the LLM will use these 3 to find the tools it needs to answer your question.
All right. So that was simple. That was read-only. So what about write scenarios? For that, you need something called MCP configurations, and this is a teaser for the next video where you will learn everything you need to know to set up that. So stay tuned for the next video. And that's it for this video on MCP server introduction. As just repeating, our vision for MCP server is basically here on line 2, make all functionality available to AI and agents. And of course, we need to do this in a secure, reliable way. And MCP seems to be the protocol that is the one that is becoming industry standard. So of course, Business Central team is joining that initiative.
Yeah, and where this really shines is where you have scenarios involving multiple products, because you can set up agents that use multiple tools, not just Business Central. It can read from other systems and actually reason over that and gather information from multiple sources.
So, for the first video here, call to action is just set up a test tenant, enable MCP, and try using Copilot Studio to do your first agent. Experiment a little bit with scenarios, with models, and then write about your experience, and of course engage with us on Viva if you're a partner, so that we can all learn the things that we should tweak before we make this generally available.
And when you have Copilot Studio and you've enabled the MCP server, it literally only takes about 1 minute to set this up. And then you can get started trying this out.
A few things before we end. This is general Business Central resources. The first is BC All, or aka.ms/BC All. These are just the landing pages or aka links for everything you need to know as a partner. The second is important because aka.ms/BC Yammer is the sign-up page for you if you were previously on our Yammer network. That's where you apply to get access to Viva, which is the new Yammer. We also want to make sure that you follow the office hours. We'll have an office hour on MCP server I think in January 2026. Follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube, especially for LinkedIn. This is where the product group posts weekly news on things that are upcoming and things that we find important. So this is where you stay on top of the news. And YouTube is where we publish both our launch edition, these videos, and more. So make sure that you follow us there to kind of learn a lot about what's happening in the Business Central world as seen from the product group. So that's it, Jens. But if you're curious about the next videos, watch down in the description and go on to learn more about configurations. And we also had an advanced topics for you if you're really that interested.
Yes, so we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.